Hey y'all, welcome to the Healing Space Live and Online Chats with Roxanne and Rhonda, the podcast where guests will share information and research on self-love, living a wellness-filled life, how to heal from traumatic events, and more. This podcast is sponsored by Healing Hearts and Minds Publishing, LLC, a new company that publishes books that promote self-love, healthy relationships, avoidance of unhealthy relationships, and much, much more. Check out their first publication, Unhealthy Relationships, Let's Stop the Madness, a guide for those in unhealthy relationships and for those who want to help them. Written by first-time author and co-host of the Healing Space Live and Online, Roxanne Elizabeth Epperson. Visit Amazon.com to purchase the paperback or ebook. Enjoy the show. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Healing Space Live and Online Chats with Roxanne and Rhonda. If this is your first time joining us, we welcome you and we hope this will not be your last time. And so today we're going to be talking about, well, first of all, we focus on healthy lifestyles, healthy relationships, healing from traumatic events, traumatic relationships, sexual assault, domestic violence, and all of that. So today we're going to be talking about vacationing from a different perspective. And let me tell you, when Rhonda brought this topic to my attention, I said, wow, that's a good one. And I shared it with a colleague the other day, and she said the same thing. She said, wow, that's a good one. So I feel we're on the right track. So I'm going to turn it over to Rhonda now.
Thank you, Roxanne. Hello, everyone. As Roxanne said, we're so glad you're listening today. And we hope, as she said, that you will continue to listen to Healing Space Live and Online Chats with Roxanne and Rhonda. So one of our focal points, as Roxanne mentioned, has been to talk about relationships that are not always safe, relationships where there is danger, where there is fear, where there is intimate partner violence. So we are going to focus on that. Before we get into that, though, let's talk, Roxanne, a little bit about our vacations. So we're going to look at vacations from a different perspective, but I will admit to the whole world that talking about vacations is one of my favorite subjects. I could be very sleepy, very tired and fatigued, and someone starts talking about vacations and my energy rises up. I'm right there. I'm in the conversation. I tell you that one time I was in the grocery store, and I overheard this woman talking to someone to another person about vacation, about cruising. And she was talking about the cruises she went on. And I went over and enjoyed their conversation. I can't help myself.
That's funny.
I love talking about vacation. So, hey, Roxanne, share with the audience, share with us, what's been one of your favorite vacations or a favorite part of vacationing?
Well, one year I decided to go to the Bahamas by myself.
Okay.
And people in my life thought I was crazy. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm going anyway. And I went and I had a ball all by myself. I stayed at a all-inclusive hotel where you had to have a wristband on to get in and out. So I felt safe. And this was before, I can't even remember what year it was, but the craziness that's going on in the world today was not happening as much. And today I would never go on a vacation by myself to the Bahamas. Okay, just say that. But I met this young lady from New York, and she was a teacher. She was taking herself on vacation, and her family and friends told her the same thing. And they scared her so bad that she only brought a disposable camera instead of her real camera because they said she would get robbed. So anyway, I got pictures of her with a flamingo and everything. But the funniest thing about this vacation to me was during the day, I was on my way to catch the ferry to go shopping, and the cab rode by. This cute little chocolate brother was driving the cab. He said, oh, I'll take you for $2 or whatever. I don't even know what the regular price was, but I jumped in the cab. By the time it was over, we was having a date that night, right? So wait a minute, don't not that kind of date. He says, and I think the movie A House Fella Got Her Groove Back was all out at this time, right? So he asked me, did I want to go to a party that night? I'm like, sure, but my girlfriend has to go with us. I ain't had no girlfriend with me. I was lying. I didn't want him to know I was by myself, right? So when he came to pick us up, it was just me, and I'm like, she wasn't feeling it. She just didn't want to go. So I went on out with him, but I just needed him to know that I was not alone. So I went to the nightclub and we just danced all night. And he said he was going to come and take us out the next day for dinner, but I think he didn't come back because I wasn't Stella. But it was an experience and I enjoyed it. So that's one of my most memorable vacations. And you, I can imagine yours had to do something with water because I know you love the beach.
Yeah, I would say one of my most memorable vacations did have to do with the beach. Actually, growing up, going on vacations for my family meant going to see family members. We live in
Oh.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We went as far as Huntington, West Virginia. That was it. We went to Columbus, Ohio, where family was. I mean, the family vacations for a child was wonderful. You know, we went to the Ohio State Fair. You know, I mean, and my grandmom lived in West Virginia, so my mom got to see her mom. So they were good vacations. I don't have any negative memories from them. However, I had never vacationed to the beach. I'd never seen the ocean. I didn't know, about that other than learning about it, geography. I don't know,
Right.
coloring in those maps you used to get in fourth and fifth grade. You had to color all the blue section, and I
Yeah.
remember that about learning about oceans. But when I was in my early 30s, we went to a girlfriend and I and my daughter went to to Virginia Beach, Virginia. And it was absolutely amazing. And I fell in love. Kind of, they say love at first sight. They only talk
Uh-huh.
about couples. My love
Uh-uh.
at first sight, love of the beach. So, and it was so much fun. I didn't know at that time that when you went to the beach vacation, you stayed the whole week. And when my girlfriend and I, when we was planning it, and she would say, well, we'll go, we'll get a hotel and we'll stay. And I'm like, okay, what do you do? She said, you get up and you go to the beach, and at night you walk down the boardwalk. I'm like, okay, well, what else do you do? So we actually planned it around, I guess, my ignorance by me not knowing about that. That's a fun whole week. So we went to DC for a couple of days. We went to Busch Gardens. We broke it up so we wouldn't be at the beach the whole time. Second day in at the beach, I'm like, next time we'll just do the whole week at the beach. So I
Wow.
did. I fell in love with the beach and with the ocean. Love at first sight. So yeah, it was
That's
definitely had
amazing.
something to do with water.
It just let me. You just reminded me of childhood vacations because, of course, ours was the same. And I lived in Pittsburgh, and going to Harmony, Pennsylvania, in Westmoreland County was vacation. And I spent my summers out there with my great grandmother, and I loved it. The peach trees, apple trees, grapevines, watermelon patch, all of that. So those are really precious memories. So thanks for bringing that up
Yeah, for
or
sure.
reminding me. Okay. So
So I'm sorry.
no. I know you was going to lead into your. I was just going to say, go ahead and do your thing.
So yeah, for sure. With COVID-19 restrictions lifting and the
Mm,
world at large feeling safer to vacation again, a lot of people are anxious to get back to their vacations, whether it is to a small rural area, such as with Harmony, PA, whether it is the ocean and beach. Families are really traveling again. I think just 2 weekends ago, I don't know if it was maybe Memorial Day weekend, I'm not sure, but not too long ago, we reached 2 million, and that was the most we had seen. By we, I mean the United States, reached
mm,
2 million flyers.
wow.
The airlines reported, yeah, and that was the most since 14 months. So we know that travel is picking up again. Um, and with that, all families travel. A lot of times when we think about families who live with fear or danger from intimate partner violence, we may not think about them also doing things such as going on vacation. But
Yeah.
yes, all families take vacations or can take vacations. So Roxanne and I always focusing on or always knowing we always want to focus on, as she said, healthy relationships. We want to focus on how to have a healthy relationship. And we know the reality is that there are 1 out of 4 marriages have ongoing intimate partner violence. So we know the reality of having a healthy relationships, and sometimes after you have gone through some very negative dangerous relationships. So, on that note, we want to think about some safety planning for families who do live with fear. So, anyone listening, and this certainly could be for those who work with people who live with intimate partner violence, and it could be for you as you listen to this podcast as well. A couple safety points that we want to mention. Please make sure your cell phone is charged up before you leave home. Have a full charge on your cell phone. Please remember to pack a cell phone charger. If you have more than one, you may want to make sure you take two, one that's visible and one that's maybe not so visible, so that if you have to, if your phone gets drained down, um, intentionally by the person who uses power control in the relationship, have a spare charger where you can recharge your phone again while you're on vacation. Very important to keep a charged up phone. If by chance you have a second phone that you also could keep private, keep hidden, and when we say these things, it's not to be sneaky. Please recognize we're talking about safety planning, which sometimes is a lifesaver. There have been women who have come in to shelters and programs who have actually said, "Thank you for giving me that tip because it saved my life." So, yes, we're not saying be sneaky. If you're in a healthy relationship, you don't have to sneak a second charger. You can tell
Right.
your partner, "Hey, baby, I'm going to bring the extra charge in case we happen to lose one." You can just be open with that conversation. But if it's not safe, if it is a relationship of fear, due to intimate partner violence, domestic violence, you do want to have safety plans in place. And you also want to know the number to the local shelter where you are going. I share this next story because it was made public. Christine, Christina Aguilera, the pop singer, her mom was a victim of intimate partner violence many years ago. And I think when she was with Christina's father, she did a speaking engagement here in Pittsburgh. And I heard her say that every time they moved, because they moved a lot, every time they moved, the first thing she did was get the phone number to the local shelter. Or if they traveled anywhere they went,
Wow.
she got the number to the local shelter. It had to be at least 15 years or more that I
Wow.
heard, maybe 17, 18 years. And that really stuck with me. Everything she said, that really stuck with me because I think it's a powerful and important safety tip to remember if you need that. Get the number to the local shelter. Before we end, we'll give you the number to the national hotline for domestic violence. You can always have that number, and if you had the local number, you could bypass that step. The next number I want to talk about is make sure when you know where you're going, and I pause for a minute, because in a relationship or in a family where there's intimate partner violence, you might not know where you're going. Um, so this might be helpful to
Hmm.
somebody, but I recognize that everybody may not even know where they're going on a vacation. Can you imagine that, Roxanne? When you went to the
No.
Bahamas on your own, you knew you were going on your own, you know?
Yes.
But
Hmm.
just imagine somebody taking you there. Maybe you thought you were going to a rural area. Maybe y'all was going to a farm or somewhere. You pack clothes for that kind of vacation, and you end up in the Bahamas because your partner never told you.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that. That's horrible.
yeah. So make sure you have the number to the police. We think 911, and yeah, we know that that is national. However, some small rural remote areas do not use 911. So if you know where you're going in advance, get that number, tuck it away, have it somewhere that you access if you need it. And if you don't have it, be very alert when you're around. In small rural areas, there's going to be a police car parked somewhere. All right,
Hmm.
I'm just going to go here and be stereotypical at the local donut shop.
Yep.
Uh, I,
But
but actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no. Go ahead.
You
My,
may
my
see
thought.
a police car. When you see that police car, get that number. Pay attention to what, if it's not 911, what is that number? Make a mental note of that number until you can safely record that number.
It just came back to me, the thought I just had. And I wonder what the international emergency number is. So I'm going to look that up and put that on our website, because I've never thought about that till just now.
Yeah.
I'll put these vacation tips on our website as well. And I'll include an international emergency number.
Great.
Good point.
Yeah.
Wow.
I never thought about that. I've been out of the country. I've never, even though I'm giving these tips, or we're giving these tips, Roxanne and I, based on thinking about a family living with intimate partner violence who's traveling. And I've traveled for work. I remember the first time I went to Seattle, Washington. That's the farthest I'd ever been away from home alone. And I was happy and excited. It was a work trip. I didn't think about getting a local police number, or I would think Seattle would use 911, but I just didn't think like that. And that's the impetus of today's podcast. To anyone listening who can help a friend, a family member, a client, or anyone you're working with who's going on vacation and there's danger in their family, to share these tips. Or, of course, if it is you, to look at the website. Roxanne will give you the website before we close, but to look at the website and look for these tips so you can make either a mental or a written note, or wherever it's safe for you to have these as a reminder. The next thing we want to talk about is, before I even do that one, the local urgent care. Is it 24 hours? Does it close at 9 p.m.? Is there a hospital? Is there a 24-hour emergency room? When you live in larger cities, you get used to things just being taken for granted. We know there's 24-hour hospitals in Pittsburgh, PA. There's 24-hour emergency departments. Everybody doesn't have that. So find those kinds of things out. This could be these can be life-saving tips.
And they could be tips not even just for vacationing, just knowing these things, period. You're in an abusive relationship. A part of your planning. You're planning to get out. Knowing where all these resources are and everything that you might need. Yeah. Good point.
Roxanne, it just made me think of something that I hadn't thought of beforehand. All these tips, I didn't think to include have a few extra bucks tucked away if you can as well. And we know in families, financial abuse is one of the major parts of abuse that's not talked about. I don't like to quote statistics that I don't have committed to memory, but I know it's a very high number. I think it's in the 80-some%, but trust me, it's very high. That financial abuse occurring in families where there's intimate partner violence. So it may be difficult to have a few extra bucks. But I don't know if you saw the story, whoever saw, what's Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? When she left her very dangerous abusive relationship, she had 37 cent or 30-some cent in her pocket. So you want to have some kind of money in your pocket, something that you can use. Yeah, you may even have a credit card. That's good. A debit card's good. But cash, especially in an area where you're not known, cash can really may be really helpful to you. Roxanne just talked about catching a cab in the Bahamas. Would you say you had $2?
No, he told me it cost $2.
Oh, okay.
I said I didn't know how much it cost, but I didn't know how much the ferry was. But he said he would take me for $2. And I'm like, cool, So.
Yeah. See, she happened to have $2. So
yeah.
A lot of like, can you take my debit card? Like,
right.
No. All right. So know about that hospital urgent care. And the last tip that we have to share with you is talk to your children in advance. Prepare your children for the vacation. They are innocent. They're going to want to play. They're going to want to be loud. It's what kids do, and they're entitled to it. They deserve it. However, if it's going to be something triggering, it's not their fault, and there's nothing I would ever say that would indicate that someone who is being abused in the family, that is any of it's their fault at all. The person who uses abuse, power, control, manipulation, it's on that person. They're totally responsible and accountable for their behavior. And if I know that, for instance, if that person is driving and we'll have an 8-hour drive, I want to get the kids ready for a nap in the car. So I want to know how to plan to get the kids ready for a nap. I don't know if that is certain foods that I give them. I don't know, whatever it is. Give them books to read, something. If I want to plan it. If in this relationship, I can talk to my partner, encourage us to leave at a certain time, and my partner is open to that. That's not a bad suggestion. It's not going to be held against me,
Mhm.
although we never know what will be held against us in abusive relationships. If I could get my partner to leave at a time where the kids are most likely to sleep during the trip so that they're playing, laughing, giggling, or playing on their you all know I don't know the name of those things, but the little games that they play, they be on their cell phones, but those little games that they play that make all kind of sounds. And if that sound is going to be triggering, and the abuser, the person using abuse, is going to say, "Why can't you shut those kids up? I can't concentrate and drive with that stupid game playing." Have crayons for the children. Have something else they can do, because kids are going to be kids and they need to be occupied. I know, like I said in the beginning of this, we went to West Virginia. Now that trip now I think is about 4 hours or 5. It was 8 hours back then. It was back roads. I'm not going to tell you.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but I'm going to tell you.
8
This
hours?
is the interstate, huh?
I'm tripping. Just 8 hours?
It was 8 hours, and now that trip is about 4 hours. There were no
Wow.
interstates. But the other thing you have
Okay.
to think about, because of racism in the 60s, I told you I wasn't going to tell you my age, but just but because of racism in the 60s, African American families, we had to take back roads. My dad knew where to stop and buy gasoline, where not to stop and buy gasoline, where we could stop and use the bathroom, where we were not welcome to use, not welcome, not allowed to use the bathroom. So those were 8 hour trips. And you don't know, our family, I am blessed to say that it was not a family of violence. So there was nothing intentional. However, nowadays, even with the interstate and a family of violence, the abuser, the person using power and control, may choose to take back roads. So it's a lot. And I don't want to take the fun out of it. I do want to, our goal here, Roxanne and I, our goal is to put safety in it so that you can hopefully and prayerfully have fun while you are on vacations while you're away. So,
I just thought of a scenario actually happened. I don't know all the details. I can't recall all of the details. And I'm wondering how this person could have handled this situation. A couple, I guess they were vacationing or a road trip or whatever. Anyway, she ends up over the cliff dead.
wow.
And of course, he says it was an accident. She fell.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure, of course I wasn't there and I don't know, but I'm like, okay, you drive to this isolated area and you know this person is abusive. I would be terrified to go on a mountain trip or something like that. And so I wonder how she could have handled that, or how she may have been able to prevent that. And I was just sitting here thinking like, oh, baby, I got to go to the bathroom real bad. Let's not stop right here or something. I don't know. I don't know. He might have made her go behind a tree and then still threw her off the mountain. I don't know. But I don't know. That just popped in my mind about being isolated.
Yeah, Roxanne, and that's so realistic. Being isolated, taking a vacation, and let's not take the kids with us. And you have a very strong suspicion that your abuser, that your husband, your wife, your partner may kill you. Having those thoughts before you leave home, and they say, "Well, let's leave the kids at home."
Red flag.
Red flags. If there's something you can do prior to that vacation to not go.
Good point. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just wanted to throw that out there. It just popped in my head. I just had that visual. It was on one of those nighttime news shows that
I remember that story. Yeah, I remember that story. I strongly suspect abuse in that. I mean,
that's how me and Rhonda can't help ourselves. We try not to think abuse all the time, but it is what it is.
So rampant. It's epidemic.
And it doesn't seem like it's getting any better. You would think with all the education that's out there, all these like us. I mean, there's millions of us out here doing this kind of work, and it doesn't end. It's not ending. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. How do we stop this madness?
That just holding faith that this podcast today will help somebody. And that's what has allowed me to continue to do
right. Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, we can prevent somebody. You know, we can't prevent them
Yeah.
all, but we're not.
Yeah.
I wish we really need to get a hold of these, the perpetrators, or as Rhonda calls it. And I'm learning this new language. She's the educator. Those who abuse, not abusers. And so, can you explain that a little bit, please?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So a lot of times when you label someone a certain way, they can become very defensive. I am never making an excuse for somebody who uses abuse, power, and control.
Hmm.
However, I know if I call you an abuser and you shut down, I'm not helping families. I
Hmm.
can't help save, or I can't help educate or protect women who live with men or women, other people who use power and control if I get caught up on language. So if calling you an abuser shuts you down, you can't hear, you're turned off. And check this out. If in your mind you're like, no, that's what my father was. My father was an abuser. I'm not.
Okay.
Okay. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So the newer language coming around now is to say to you, the person who uses violence, the person who chooses to use violence. Because believe it or not, it's a choice. With an intimate partner violence, it's a choice. You know, I always say the person who uses violence may have a female boss or supervisor. He doesn't slap her. He doesn't cuss her out. He doesn't call
Yeah.
her names. But when he gets home, everything he felt at work, he takes out on his wife. He held it that long. So it
Hmm.
is about a choice. It's about a belief system. People who use power and control to dictate and get their own way choose to do that. Now, I have had the honor, and it has really been an honor, to work with men. And in the program that I've worked with, it's been all men. So this is not about first of all, it's not to discount that women can't be abusive as well, because yes, that is true. Women can be abusive. Women are abusive in same-sex relationships as well as in heterosexual relationships. I don't want to deny that at all. I also want to say that again, as I said, the program that I've worked in, or currently still working, act like I retired. No, I'm still working. So the program I work in, we do have a program for men who use power and control. It's under the acronym of MENS, MENS, stands for Men Embracing Nonviolence and Safety. And that's embracing, holding on to, recognizing that you want to be nonviolent and you want to be safe and provide safety in your family. And I do believe, people ask me, do I think men can change? I would not be doing this work. I've been doing it now, I think about 13 or since 2007. I don't know what is that, 7 from 11. 14 years. Oh my God, time goes so fast.
Hmm.
So about 14 years now I've been doing that. And I would not continue to do it if I didn't think men could change. Yes, I think women can change. Please remember when I make these comments, it's because who I work with. I do not work with women who use power and control. So I
Hmm.
can't speak on it, but I know I'm sure they change as well. You know,
Right.
and they
Right.
stay here and saying I know everybody who use it can change. So, but thanks, Roxanne, for pointing that out because you know, in people's families, you know, who are not trained, who do not do this work, but they're in the family, they're head of the family, and they just sit around saying things like, "Oh well, he's a knucklehead. He's always been that way. He's abusive to his wife, abusive to his kids." Just think of that, you know, because that person may really want to be different and they don't know how. And you heap on that language to them and it just manifests more in the same behavior that they're used to, that they've been doing. So we want to see
Wow.
change.
I'm so glad you went there because that's I was going to go into. We digressed a little bit, but Rhonda should share with us about the men's program since she did it. So
Thanks for
I'm so
opening the door.
grateful. Yeah, because that's what I was talking about. You know, the changing the mindset, and that's what her program is doing. And also on our YouTube channel, they're called Batterers Intervention Programs. Am I not
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So on our YouTube channel, the Duluth. Oh, I always forget the name of the program. But on our YouTube channel, there's a gentleman who has uh, 8 descriptions of power and control. It's a batterers intervention program. So if you get a chance to check that out, because he breaks it down, and you're talking about what's that second? What's embracing? He talked about how there were men that had to be that were refused to call their woman, their wife, or their girlfriend by their name. They call her or she or this or that or whatever, and just refuse to give her the respect of who she is. But he really breaks it down really, really well. So I hope you guys take some time and check those videos out. Okay, so are we gonna get back to vacationing, or where are we at?
Well, I think I want to give that phone number, the national hotline number.
Okay.
The national hotline number is 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-7233. Roxanne brought up a great point talking about the international. I have never thought of, I do not know an international number. That is the national number that wherever you are, you can call that number and they can tell you how to reach the local shelter. There's also an app for that. Are You Safe? The letter R, the letter U, safe. You can download that app. I wouldn't have thought about that, but you can download that app to your phone. And even if you're not going on vacation, you can download that app. Are You Safe? And it has some questions on there that you can do, like a little self-inventory, as well as it can connect you to the local shelter wherever you may be in the U.S. as well. So Are You Safe is the app. 1-800-799-7233 is the hotline, national hotline number.
Rhonda just reminded me of something. I'm working on a product that I'm not going to share what it is right now. It's in the developmental stages. And it's going to address this issue as well. So it'll be another resource. In addition to that app, it'll be another resource. And we'll let you know whenever it's ready. We'll, of course, announce it on the podcast and on our website and social media and all of that. Because it's going to be a good one. Yeah.
So I guess we're coming to a natural close here.
Okay.
Roxanne, you're going to give the website?
Sure. Yeah, so the easiest way to reach us is at our website. It's WAARHEALS.org. And on there you can see or listen to any of our past podcasts. We're on all of, if you just want to go to, listen in your car or whatever, we're on all the major platforms, Apple, Pandora, which Rhonda's real tickled about. And I got tickled about Audible because we're on there and we didn't apply. I don't know how that happened. So I'm always tickled by that. And we've just, we reached our 200 downloads. So we're growing, guys. Hey, I love it. Buzzsprout sends every time we reach 100 downloads, they send us an email. So we're up to 200. So yeah, check us out at warheals.org, WAARHEALS. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, it's warheals_, and Twitter as well. But our main ones are the main way to reach us is through Instagram and on our website. Did I leave anything out? I don't think I left anything out. But we're growing. We're excited. We're having a good time. I have some real exciting guests lined up coming up, and there'll be more of just me and Rhonda because that's what we do, and and we look forward, and we just hope you continue to join us. Yeah. And we always like to say we're in different spots, but some kind of way, one of these days we're gonna get it right. And just keep watching this, because one day you're going to see us in a real live studio. That's the dream. We're right now. I'm on my balcony and she's in her dining room, and I do have a home base office, but I felt like sitting outside today and enjoying the elements. But we are going to grow into a studio, so we're going to try to do our little closing right now. And just remember that we got your back. And as you can see, it didn't work because we're in the opposite directions, but you got the point. Thank you, guys.
There are two things we would like you to do. Number one, enter our monthly drawing by sending your email address to info@warheals.org. Spelled out, that is INFO@WARHEALS.org. AARHEALS.org. Put drawing in the subject line. We will notify the winner or winners via email by midnight on the last Thursday of each month. Our second request, engage with us on IG. Follow, like, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms at warheals_ on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. WAARHEALS_ on IG, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. As always, we thank you for listening and see you next week.